la ciencia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 3 is Too Many. On tonight's episode, we're going to do our top 10 weekly podcast countdown of my favorite podcasts and why I listen to them. Not everybody has time to listen to every podcast, and so sometimes I know I would like to hear who else had good guests on this week. Who else was an excellent choice to invest my little bit of time that I have in. So hopefully I'll save you some time and some bullshit and lead you in the right direction. If you guys know of some podcasts that I'm not paying any attention to, that I'm not hearing about, that are really good, leave it in the comment section. Shout it out on social media at me. I'm on Twitter, right there, Twitter. Go ahead and shout me out. Shout out your podcast at me and I'll give it a listen, and if you make the top 10 that week, you might be in it. If not, if you're a really interesting one, I might just give you a special shout out just for being an outstanding podcast, even if you don't crack the top 10 that week. So we're going to jump right into it. We have some subcategories such as who had the guest, who had the best overall, who has the best set, who's the most well produced. I'm using a lot of those kind of categories to judge it here. And then we do other things like once a month, I'm going to award the hardest hustling podcast, who was promoting the most that month. So a better prize for a whole month of hard work and production versus just you made it to the top 10 for 1 week. It switches. Now, there is a disclaimer about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is not on the top 10. And there's a reason for that. It's not any hate for Joe. I love Joe Rogan. I don't listen to his podcast regularly. I only listen by guest. If he has a very interesting guest that I want to hear Joe interview, I will watch that episode. If it's not someone I'm interested in what they have to say, I don't watch that episode because I've heard all Joe's stories. I've heard them all. And that's no disrespect. They're great stories, but I've been listening to him for like 10 years. I've heard, how many times do we want to hear about the time that he was, at the Funny Bone and Bobby Kelly was there, and Billy Burr and we know what happened next. He's very good at not telling the same story with the same guest in consecutive times. I think that he is Jamie, and before that it was Red Band, and I think they made sure they gave him a list like, Joe, last time you had him on, you told, the Toronto story and you told the Boston Comedy Club story. So don't tell those stories, tell different ones. Because he never does it back to back, but it's always like the next time he has him on, it'll be the stories that you heard last time. So repeat guests, and unless that guest has done something new that I really want to hear Joe talk to him about, I don't watch it. And that's no disrespect to him. I don't know if there's nothing new. There's not an interest there, unless the person is bringing something new to the table. I do like to hear Joe's take on things. So Elon Musk comes on, Jordan Peterson comes on, any politician. I want to hear Joe's take on that for sure. There's certain guests. Duncan Trussell comes on, I'm watching. Donnell Rawlings comes on, I'm watching. Joey Diaz is on there, I'm watching it. Just because they have great chemistry, and even though I've heard all their stories about pretty much everything that they've ever done together, I still like to hear them because they tell them again in interesting ways, and they do talk about some new stuff once in a while. So there's your asterisk next to the Joe Rogan and why he doesn't appear in the top 10 every week. Otherwise, he's like number 3 no matter what. So there's a little asterisk. I put him off in a subcategory by himself just because he's been around so long that the format is known. There's not going to be nothing unexpected really is going to happen unless there's a new guest that's going to say some wild shit. Or Elon Musk is going to smoke weed on fucking YouTube, you know what I'm saying? In front of everybody, who knows? But those are the things that we watch him for. We're going to start off at our number 1. Without a doubt, this week and almost every week, your mom's house. We're over there at Studio Jeans. We're feathering it away. We got Tom Suguara. We got Christina P. Nadav in the booth. Josh Potter back there roaming around, ready to show arm hair at any moment. They entertain me. The TikTok shit is hilarious. when they do, even when they don't have guests, when it's just the mommies, they're still fire. They got the jokes. Tom is so passive aggressive, but he does have such an anger that like Nadav and Potter can't never tell if he's really mad at him or he's not, or he's just fucking with them. And it keeps them on their toes there. By far, that's my favorite. When they do have the guests, they really usually bring the funny out in them, or they have some very disgusting things, and you get to see guests react to things that you can tell they don't see every day in their regular life. But Tom and Christine are going to bring it to their plate. So that's number one for this week for sure. Plus, they got the clips, they got the promotion. Tom is running a war against wrestling fans right now. He's trolling these dudes so hard, and there is so many people that are really seriously butthurt. But he gets promotions from Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, and then Bret Hart on there talking shit about how much they love him and his new wrestling persona that he has he's doing promos with. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. I love that show, and everything they do comes out really well. Our number 2 goes to Tuesdays with Stories with Mark Norman and Joe List. This show used to be around their stories as 2 road comics, and then they would meet back during the week and they would tell all the little adventures that they went on and different stories about stuff that happened to them while they were on the road. Obviously, with the quarantine, the show format has changed a little bit. Doesn't matter. Mark Norman is my favorite comic, so he gets the number 1 spot. I always want to listen to anything Mark Norman is on. Whatever podcast he goes on, I'm listening to. And since we've heard from other New York comedians that he is notorious for doing almost anything. He doesn't say no to very many promotional things or very many gigs. So who knows? The hope is still out there. We might nail Mark Norman on the Zoom. But so Tuesdays with Stories, and Joe List is also an excellent comic. I would put him probably in my top 15. So there's Tuesdays with Stories, the number 2 spot for this week and almost all the weeks. I put that up there. It's a regular listen. I don't miss any Tuesdays with Stories. Okay. My number 3 entry this week is a new entry to the list. Recently, just in the last few weeks, because it's the Skeptic Tank with Ari Shaffir. Hate all you want. Ari Shaffir's a funny motherfucker. I don't give a shit. Rip Kobe. Ari Shaffir, he recently added the video to his YouTube channel where it used to just be the audio, where I still enjoyed listening to Ari all the time, even on audio. But now that there's video there, and he can actually have guests and interact with them and stuff, and we can see his goofy Jew ass out there, I fucking love it. I've watched every one of them since he started back up in there. He has good guests on it. He had Mark Norman on. He called Bobby Kelly. He had a really good one. This last one was a banger. Well, they all are. The Joey Diaz one was excellent. I can't wait to see who he gets in there next. And once things open up, who knows what's going to happen. So that's our number 3 spot. Skeptic Tank, Ari Shaffir. Go ahead, check it out. Skeptic Tank, YouTube. He's got video now. You got to listen to him on Spotify if you want to hear the music, though. He can't play the background music because it's copyright shit for YouTube, but for some reason he can do it on Spotify. So that's the situation with him if you want to watch Skeptic Tank. This week's number 4 entry has a dual award this week. They're number 4 on the list because they're my number 4 favorite podcast. Also this week, I'm presenting them with the once monthly Super Hustler Award. And this championship belt signifying they're the hardest working podcast out there right now. The best promotion, the most Twitter, the most tagging up guests, trying to overreach where they should be for their listeners. They do it all. They are out there really trying to promote themselves and come up in the world. And so the Rushmore Podcast guys, those guys are my number 4 and the winners of this week's Super Hustler Award championship belt. And here to accept their award, the Rushmore Podcast guys. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, we're fucking in.
Good, right on. Hey, I know you guys are pressed for time now because of hail. But,
yeah, that shit was wild, dude.
You guys want to introduce yourself? Which one is which here?
Welcome to the Rushmore Podcast. My name's Pepper.
My name's Thomas.
It's a podcast where we win awards, bitch.
Yeah, that's right. Award winning. Thank goodness for Pepper, because this wouldn't happen, because me and Thomas don't know how fucking time zones work, evidently.
Other way around.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Something. Yeah, we were messed up. I don't know. It almost didn't happen. So, once a week, I rank the top 10 podcasts. The ones I personally enjoy. I base it on the guests, content, whatever. Once a month, I award the best improved, the most hustler podcast, the hardest worker, the one I see the most promotion from, the one getting the best guests that are maybe above where their viewers should be, that are, stretching and reaching and trying, and putting their foot down. I've seen that a lot with you guys. When the Zoom started, when this whole thing hit, I seen you guys jump on it, take full advantage of the fact that people can now, you can get guests. You guys were in Mississippi. I mean, it's hard to get Mark Norman down to Mississippi.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of fucking local guests.
Right, but this opens everybody up. You're a phone call away.
Exactly. We're fucking geniuses.
Yeah, so you guys this month definitely, you won that head and shoulders above everyone else. I see you guys blasting everywhere, promoting everything, asking questions. What should we ask our guests? Who else could we try to get, and then trying to get their fans to pressure them into coming. Genius. Yeah. Genius, gentlemen. Genius.
Thank you, sir.
I got a virtual.
God just walked in the fucking room.
Right. There's a virtual belt up here. I couldn't find an actual one on short notice, but next time there'll be an actual belt on the wall for people to win.
Champ shit.
Yeah, champs. My Rushmore podcast, currently, Your Mom's House, Tuesdays with Stories. The Skeptic Tank with Ari Shaffir. Now that he does the video on YouTube, it is top notch. And then the Rushmore.
Fuck yeah,
oh,
dude.
shit.
You're number 4.
That's some good, what's it called?
What do you mean?
People to be
taste? With? Oh, good association company?
Yeah. Definitely select company.
That's a handsome-ass mountain, too.
Yeah,
you take Ari Shaffir out of there, one of the best fucking looking mountains alive.
Hey, we gotta have a connection so we can get back in Hollywood,
Yeah.
Yeah, we may or may have a shout out on Ari's podcast Monday.
Nice.
I recorded a theme song for him, and my payment was, they just talked about us on fucking Skeptic Tank.
Nice. Yeah, he's real good on the music. I listen to him on Spotify just so I can hear the music because he can't play a lot of it on the YouTube,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so you got to kind of double dip.
I told him he should hire somebody every week to just cover whatever songs he wants to do. That'd
right.
Be sick.
Well, you guys, I know you guys got to run. You got a guest coming in just a few minutes. I really want to get you guys back in here in the future and do a whole interview. I want to hear about how the pod started, how you came up with the Rushmore theme. It's definitely one of the most original themes. I play along at home. I mean, my whole family does. We listen, we hear what it is. We try to write ours down and see how far we are off from each other and from you guys. We're never right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we like to try to throw curveballs in there, because, like, if we do, like, something standard, like, I don't know, like commentators. If we did commentators, it'd be boring if it was like, I like Joe Rogan, I like Joe Buck. Like, we try to throw some curveballs.
Right.
Yeah, my shit's generally fictional.
Yeah.
As far as the theme song goes, how long is the theme song? It's like 21 seconds. 21 seconds. It took me 21 seconds to write that theme song. That's literally first draft, straight into the computer, and then it's like, all right, well, I think I fucking nailed it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I got my niece right now has a couple of musician buddies that are working on a hard rock version for a theme song for me.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't listen to hard rock or heavy metal at all, so I thought it would be really cool just to have like a 3 is too many.
Yeah, we'll use it too. We'll
send it to me, and I'll let you know if it sucks or not. Theme song for your podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'm a hard rock, heavy metal, hardcore aficionado.
Okay.
I'm brutally honest.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. I'll let you guys get to your business then. Congratulations on your award. We're going to promote it everywhere, and I know you guys will.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. award-winning Rushmore Podcast. We'll defend it.
That's your label from now on. You're award winning. They can't take that away. It's like getting an Oscar. Once you got one, you're always an Oscar winner.
We still claim that we're the #1 podcast in Mississippi because nobody's disputed it. We're the undisputed #1 podcast in Mississippi.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to dispute.
Yeah.
Still top. I'm the best podcast launching from this apartment complex. I guarantee it.
Damn, dude, that's pretty major.
That lady down the way that does her channel about the pies, she ain't got nothing on me.
No, fuck her. She doesn't have a belt.
Pies are stupid.
All right, guys. You guys have a great day. That's our number 4 winner.
Thanks,
our number 4 award right there. The Rushmore Podcast guys. Thanks for stopping by, guys, on the Zoom. I know it was last minute, and you guys were really rushed for time, so thanks for stopping by again. Hopefully we can get you back in here for a proper interview and we can really talk to you. I want to talk about Pepper's music so much now because your guys' Twitter is hilarious. You guys were killing me today. All right, anyway, our number 5 spot is a regular visitor. It's the Bertcast with Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer is definitely in my top 4 favorite comedians right now. I know a lot of people are easily offended by him, but I'm not. I really enjoy his comedy. It suits my style. It's very much my own style of comedy in the gross family stories, etc., etc. So it really fits in with me, and I really enjoy it. And depending on the guest, it's definitely an every time listen. Sometimes he doesn't seem like the big guests are really trying to fuck with Bert, and I don't know why, if it's his public image or not wearing a shirt on stage or why they hate on him a little bit, but it seems like the really big guests he gets are really only his friends anyway, and that kind of sucks. I hope that more people start messing with him because it's a good interview, even though he's Bertus Interruptus, and we already know that we're mostly going to hear stories about Bert, but he does get some good stories out of guests usually. It leads to like 3 stories more from him, but fuck you, I like Bertcast. Because next, coming in at the number 6 spot is 2 Bears, 1 Cave. We're again back at Studio Gene, back at your mom's house with Tom Segura with Bert Kreischer. You like the Bertcast and you like Bert being offensive on his own? Try having Tom Segura pushing his buttons and trying to provoke him into being offensive. That show is offensive and off the hook and probably should be canceled. This show, they never have guests. It's just the 2 of them, which I actually kind of like that format, that it's just those 2 talking about current things that are going on, the world in general. It used to be a lot more about like what comedy shows were coming up, what tours are we going on, what are we doing. But these guys really they prank each other on social media all the time. They play well off each other. You can tell that they're legitimately best friends by how mean they are to each other on a regular basis, especially how mean Tom is. But, I really believe that Tom Segura might be the biggest psycho in comedy. I think he's got the title over Bill Burr. I remember seeing a YouTube video called Who's a Bigger Psycho, Burr or Segura? Coming in at number 7 is The Koi Pawn with Joe Coy. When you want to get back, to a more laid-back, comical style, he's not offensive, he's super funny, he has a great interview style, he is not Bertus Interruptus, he feeds his guests leading questions and then lets them tell their story instead of 4 of his, but but I really like Joe Coy. I think everything he does is hilarious. Anything that he pulls off with his mom is great. I really enjoy that style of comedy. Obviously. Number 8 on this list this past weekend with Theo Vaughan. Now, this podcast gets overlooked a lot. He has smaller guests on that maybe a lot of people don't know, that are really specific, the people that he knows. Like when he has Bryce Mitchell on, a lot of people don't know him from the UFC because he's just starting out. But that's a great interview. That kid is fucking awesome, And so to hear him... and Theo relates to people that are working class. And to me, I don't know how much of it is an act. He's from Louisiana. He's from down south. I don't think it's that much of an act. But even if it is, I think generally at heart, he is a really good dude. And that just makes it enjoyable to hear him play off of things. And I know some of the stupidity is fake. When he has his gaffes, what? Oranges aren't orange, or some weird shit like that. That's fine. But I didn't know that was a lady. Leads into his character. You know, it's just part of his bit, but it's really enjoyable. I like it a lot. So, number 8 this past weekend with Theo. Coming in at number 9, like a small hairless dog. That's right, Tiger Belly with Bobby Lee. The Tiger Belly of Bobby Lee and Kalila, I really like that. It doesn't even matter who the guest is. I really like to hear Bobby Lee interact with people. He's so innocent. He has a flavor all his own. If you don't like Bobby Lee, you don't like him. But if you like Bobby Lee, you love Bobby Lee for Bobby Lee. If you don't like him, he's cringy as fuck, and you can't even stand to listen to him or watch him. But if you like him and you get him, you really, really enjoy him, and you love the shit out of some Bobby Lee. So, number 9, the Tiger Belly with Bobby Lee and Kalila. Which, by the way, Bobby Lee, give that woman a little subtitle on there, right? With Kalila. You need to. She carries you sometimes on that show. You know she carries you just a little bit on that show sometimes. Give the woman some credit. And number 10, crazy or not, we're back over at Studio Jeans at your mom's house for the Honeydew with Ryan Sickler. I like Ryan Sickler. I like his interview style. I like his accent. You know, he's got that cool little accent to his voice, and he's a laid back comic. But he gets fired up about stuff that he really believes in, and he gets fiery with people, you know, and I like that, you know, and he gets a lot of the better guests because it is there at your mom's house, which is great. That's why you build a big studio like that to host multiple shows out of. And they also have the After Dark with Dr. Drew there, which is also a great show. Did not make the top 10, but I will give it honorable mention. Right, the one with Christina P on there. When she shows him those TikToks, she is purposely trying to see where his line is, and can she push him over it and break this man with things that are so disgusting that it warps his mind to try to analyze them and give a diagnosis of what is wrong with these fucking people. She's ruining Dr. Drew slowly. Her and Tom are eating away at Dr. Drew's sanity. I love it. I love it. Anyway, so they actually use 4 shows on there that are top 15 podcasts. All right, so that's our top 10. Those were plus an honorable mention. We handed out our award for the monthly for the Super Hustler Championship Award, and that's it. Stay tuned till next week. If you, like I said, if you have a podcast that you'd like to be considered. Oh yeah, one more shout out. Small Town Radio Podcast. Those guys are awesome. They find a small town in America. They try to find out as much information and try to find the smallest place. Each of them, the hosts, find a place, and they try to find the smallest place and outsmall the other guy, but find cool places that have facts. Like, they found a town that only one lady lived in, and she was like the mayor, the mail person, the librarian, the store owner, and people came from the outside county. She was the only one that lived in the whole town. It was pretty awesome. Anyways, if you're on Spotify, I don't know where else they are, but I listen to them on Spotify. Give Small Town Radio a listen. They're not huge, long episodes, but they're pretty funny. Those guys are, you know, they're hilarious guys, and they have a really good little podcast. So give them a little bit of attention if you guys get around to it. All right, have a good night. I'll catch you guys next time.